Witam Państwa. Ze studia Tele Polonica mówi Piotr Zwolinski. Proszę Państwa, sytuacja w Polsce ekonomiczna i właściwie i polityczna znów się stała przedmiotem prasy codziennej. Dzisiaj w studio zaprosiliśmy panią dr Domaradzką, przewodniczącą Komitetu Pomocy Polskiej, która prowadzi ten program pomocy żywności lekarstw od wielu lat, oraz pana Hallwarda, który współpracuje z komitetem, biznesmena i wielkiego działacza kanadyjskiego, który niedawno wrócił z Polski. Zaczniemy od pani doktor. Dzień dobry pani doktor.
Dzień dobry.
Bardzo mi miło, że państwo dzisiaj przyszli. Pani doktor, jak wobec tej sytuacji, która w prasie wygląda, że jest coraz politycznie lepiej, ale jednocześnie sytuacja żywnościowa i ekonomiczna jest coraz gorsza. Jak wygląda to od strony Komitetu Pomocy Polskiej?
No, proszę pana, my pracujemy już od dawna i robimy co możemy, ale w porównaniu z zapotrzebowaniem obecnym Polski to jest kropla w morzu. To jest naprawdę bardzo mało. Dlatego pozwolę sobie przeczytać ostatni list księdza biskupa Domina, który właśnie dostaliśmy po wizycie pana Johna Hallwarda w Polsce. Komisja charytatywna Episkopatu Polski pragnie niniejszym raz jeszcze przekazać wszystkim członkom komitetu w Aide for Poland w Montrealu jak najserdeczniejsze podziękowanie za przekazaną nam przez pana Johna Hallwarda sumę $15,000 amerykańskich. Kwota ta zostanie niezwłocznie zadysponowana na cele związane z dalszymi pracami przebudowy domu ośrodka wypoczynkowego dla dzieci i młodzieży niepełnosprawnej w Borowej Wsi. Serdeczny Bóg zapłać za osobisty wkład członków komitetu w kontynuowanie pomocy charytatywnej dla Polski. Wasz komitet jest właściwie jedynym w Kanadzie, który organizuje pomoc dla Polski w sposób ciągły i regularny. Pomoc ta obejmuje dary rzeczowe w postaci bardzo cennych igieł i strzykawek jednorazowego użycia, woreczków kałowych i różnych leków oraz odzież i inne dary. Komisja charytatywna składa podziękowanie za zorganizowanie przez komitet różnego rodzaju imprez i zbiórek pieniężnych na zakup leków i drobnego sprzętu medycznego oraz na pomoc budującemu się ośrodkowi dla dzieci i młodzieży w Borowej Wsi. Komisja charytatywna przyjmuje z wdzięcznością dary waszych serc. Życzymy, by dobry Bóg stokrotnie wynagrodził was trud. Dziękujemy w imieniu wszystkich obdarowanych i naszym własnym z całego serca. Z okazji zbliżających się świąt Bożego Narodzenia prosimy przyjąć szczere życzenia obfitych łask Chrystusa Zbawiciela. Niech On będzie wam wszystkim światłem i drogą w nowym roku, jak i w całym życiu. Podpisany ksiądz biskup Domin.
Proszę pani, więc to bardzo się cieszę, że wszyscy państwo się dowiedzieli, że komitet, który powstał tylko w okresie stanu wojennego, żeby pomóc Polsce, okazuje się, że nadal nie
9 lat już pracujemy. W maju będzie nasza 10. akcja zbiórki w Montrealu.
Tak, zaczęliście państwo to wtedy jeszcze niestety z panią Szczawińską,
tak,
której nie ma.
Tak, była duszą naszego komitetu.
Proszę pani, ale to jest taka sytuacja, to znaczy, że nadal działacie i nadal posyłacie. Teraz pan Hallward.
Pan Hallward był właśnie w Polsce teraz i może więcej nam opowie o obecnej sytuacji w Polsce.
Mr. Hallward, thank you for coming to our studio. I present to the people of Polish community. Mr. Hallward was for a long time, I think about already 8 years, then you work with the Committee to Poland. Mr. Hart, your last visit in Poland was when exactly?
The last week of October.
This is very new. This
I
October.
left Poland on the 1st of November.
Oh, and Mr. Howard, this was not your first visit in Poland.
No, it was not my first. My 7th visit since 1982.
Can you repeat?
It was my 7th visit.
7.
Yes, 7 and from
Since 1982.
1982. But before you was in Poland?
Well, when I was a student, I was there for the first time in 1953.
1953. Now I start to understand a little. Mr. Haas, then you have some kind of experience of Poland. You was in 83, you come back. What is the difference?
Between 1982 and 1989?
Yeah.
Well, the things that even a visitor like myself who speaks no Polish couldn't help noticing was 2 or 3 things. The signs outside the Warsaw University by students saying that they wished to no further participate in the military exercises. They were obliged as students to spend 1 day a week with the military. And then both boys and girls. And then at the end of their studies, the boys all had to do 6 months full-time in military service. And they were protesting this. Well, I can't imagine, as recently as a year ago, that such posters would have proclaimed this on the streets of Warsaw outside the university. That was one simple thing I saw. People changing money on the streets perfectly openly in a way they never would have before. But you know, the kind of thing that touched a person like myself, going to Poland at a time of difficulty when, as we've all read in the newspapers, there has been 400 or 500% inflation, and people are paying. Oh, I mean, it's tough, and yet, to go to this area near Borowa-Więcz, where this center for handicapped children is being built, and a priest is training young boys and girls, young men and women, to help look after the handicapped. And I was introduced to a group of about 80 young men and women who were gathered near the parish church there, interested in hearing from a Canadian, why would Canadians want to support this kind of thing? When I said to myself, can you imagine in a time of difficulty such as Poland is going through, 70 or 80 young people wanting to give their time and their effort and their care and their hearts to young people who are having a tough time? I don't know whether people would do that the same way in Canada. I was both touched and in a sense challenged by it. And then to meet people, I met a young man in Krakow who is studying law at the university there, but who on the side, at cost, he's having to pay for it, is doing a course in business studies because he wants to try to prepare himself to participate in reshaping Poland's economic future. And again, the people I met there, people in government, the chairman of the Senate, the minister of urban planning and housing, a member of the Sejm, many people I met, all said one of the ways in which people in the West can help us in Poland today is to encourage joint ventures, investment by people from the West with people in Poland to create the kind of business ventures that can help to reshape the economy. It will take time. I think one other change one other thing that I noticed in Poland was that people were perfectly aware that there are tough times ahead, but they were still ready to sacrifice, to pay the price of turning the country around economically and politically, and they spoke of it as our government. A year ago, they would not have called it our government.
Our government means the Poles have their government. Yeah, before it was the different. Yes. But this is or it's you in the same time you see exterior, and in the same time you think you see interior. If I can tell you about the people, but it's the point of view economically speaking. It was. To you, it was the time in the military regime was the all thing. It was the when you remember probably from the plane, it was the all army around and the military was all around. It disappeared or it's still there?
You
I mean the presence.
Well, you don't see the military in the same way that you did in the time of what they called martial law.
Yeah.
No, you don't see the military in the same way at all. In fact, when I was there, it was pointed out to me that an open letter to the Prime Minister appeared in the newspaper, signed by 36 militia members, all renouncing their membership in the Communist Party, and all asking the Prime Minister to free the militia from control by the party. For instance, the militia members themselves are forbidden to go to church. They are forbidden to get married in church. And they want to be freed from this kind of control.
You think so? Is really true?
This has been the case.
Probably, yeah. It never comes.
And I mean, can you imagine?
The militia is always something out of our society, if I can tell.
Well, I understand. But can you imagine a year ago, militia members publishing a letter to the Prime Minister saying, "Niet, we don't want it."
They will be put in the prison and, send something away somewhere. Then politically, you see something really open, but in the same time economically.
No, serious problems. I went into a shopping center with a friend to see what the prices were. And a kilo of coffee, 40 to 50,000 zloty. And I asked somebody who was with me, how much are people earning now? And this particular person said, well, I'm earning 80,000 zloty a month. Some people earn more. The average salary is supposed to be 90 to 100,000 zloty a month. And a kilo of coffee, 40 to 50,000
zloty. A kilo of coffee is quite lux, maybe.
All right, but
you
Polish people like to drink coffee.
Yeah, it's
just as much as Canadians. Just as much as Canadians.
I was a long time when I was in Poland, and the coffee in Poland was better than here.
Ah, well.
I don't know why, but So except maybe the espresso Italian in some small Italian restaurant here, it's really good. But you mentioned about you are the businessman yourself. Then you think it could be possible they make the business and in the same time to help the people?
I think there are real possibilities there. I hope that Canadian business people and certain firms can learn what are the priorities in the Polish economic framework today that need fresh investment and that have real potential. For example, I took with me from Canada a letter from somebody I know who's in the construction business.
Yeah,
in the construction materials.
Very interesting thing, because this is the completely different system. They build it very heavy maybe for 1,000 years, and it's not working.
Well, this person was interested in knowing whether it would be possible to import Polish materials for construction, on the understanding that if Poland could export materials for hard currency, that could help the economy. And I tried this on the Minister of Urban Planning and Housing, showed him the letter. He said, well, the fact of the matter is that right now we do not have any materials for export. We need all the construction materials we can get just within Poland. All right, take that as an example. If the raw materials are there, such that a Canadian firm, by investing A, some money, B, some technology,
Technology is very important because I think that sometimes Polish technology is heavy. It's from the Soviet Union. It's not working, first of all. It's heavy, it's take time, and after is the disaster.
Well, and then C, some personnel to help people in Poland learn how to operate, and then could work together to build something. My impression is that there is more motivation amongst the Polish people than there is among the citizens in the USSR. I'm not saying that critically, but I think they both need a lot of help. But I think the Poles have more readiness to, if necessary, to sacrifice, but especially to work at turning things around and making a difference. And I very much hope that certain Canadian businesses will take a serious look at what can be done. I was very pleased on the night before I left Poland. I had a meeting with the Canadian ambassador, Peter Hancock, and he has only been in Warsaw for 3 weeks, or he had only been there for 3 weeks then. But he told me something which I had not heard before, and that is that in January, this coming January, the Canadian government is sponsoring seminars in joint ventures in Montreal, and then in Toronto, and then in Calgary, so that Canadian business firms and Canadian business people can learn at first hand from senior Polish officials who will be coming over especially for this, what the situation in Poland is, what the present conditions are, and what the potential is, what the possibilities are for joint ventures, for developing business possibilities that haven't existed before, which is laying a fresh foundation for the future of the Polish economy. Now, having said that, and I very much hope that Canadian firms will take an active part in those seminars, having said that, there is no question that things are going to get worse before they get better. It takes time to turn things around. And I think, one of the things I learned this last time in Poland was that Poland needs aid of two kinds. It needs know-how and joint ventures for the future, but it needs goods now. They need aid now. And people, I was moved by the fact that people in Poland are prepared to pay a price, are prepared to sacrifice, but still they need help. And there isn't any question that food and clothing and medication, medical equipment are needed.
I have one question. You work for many years with Committee of Aid to Poland, and in the letter then Professor Domaradzka tell they need again the ejectable instruments.
Yes.
Then what's happened after the committee sent, I think, the wagon of the ejectable, I don't know the name exactly.
Disposable.
Disposable, yes.
Yes.
Then how it could be done in Poland? It's not very difficult, probably, production. Because, you know, always they need something more. I think 28 million people is there, then always they need a lot. Could it be possible to build the manufacture of this disposal?
Well, that's a reasonable question. And I think it would be possible to discuss with firms that are creating medication, creating medical equipment, what they see in that regard, whether there could be a real possibility. You see, what Poland needs is the goods, short term, but they need to be able to export longer term so that they can rebuild their economy. So if they could begin to create medical equipment in Poland that could be used in Poland, but begin to create enough that it could be exported, and not only supply the needs within Poland, but begin to help
in other countries,
Polish economy.
And not only the Polish economy, but the other country is maybe poorer than Poland. I don't know, but in Poland, it's the same time the political question about the stability in the world.
Yes.
I think so.
There's no question that medical equipment is certainly one of the priorities in Poland. I think construction is another, housing is another, One of the possibilities that the Minister of Urban Planning and Housing mentioned to me as a possible is tourism. That there is a chance for joint ventures that could enable people in the West to participate in developing tourism. I mean, for somebody like myself who has visited Poland a number of times, quite apart from the reason one goes, it's a fascinating country to visit. And I hope that more Canadians, and not just Canadians, will visit Poland in years to come and experience something of the beauty of the land and of the character of the people.
Mr. Hallward, our time is coming to the end. You mentioned something, then committee, and you visit Poland and you build something for the children.
Yes.
It's mean where it is exactly?
It's in the south. It's near Katowice.
Yes.
And it's called Borowa Więź.
And I think in this picture we have the building.
This is a picture which shows.
Okay, can I show it?
Yes.
This will be the picture. Then can you explain what is this?
Yes, this is farm buildings, pretty old farm buildings, which were given by a lady 2 years ago to be used for this purpose, and the church is organizing the reconstruction of those buildings. The government would not allow them to be torn down because they said that they were so old that they were historic, so they had to be rebuilt.
And this is, I'm sorry, this is the picture?
This is the priest, Father Bank, Father Christopher Bank, who is responsible for training these young men and women to help the handicapped children. And, God bless him, I saw him working with a tractor to help in the reconstruction. So he works with his hands as well as his heart in a remarkable way. He's quite a remarkable man.
And what's the children, what's need the help? It's mean then they are...
These are physically handicapped children who have unable to walk or unable to move. They either have no legs or are handicapped in different ways, and who need help.
Yes. Mr. Hallward, thank you very much for coming and to give your impression. Professor Domaradzka.
Na zakończenie.
I think we have no time.
No time?
I'm sorry.
Ja
Dziękujemy bardzo. Proszę Państwa, mówił ze studia Tele Polonica, mówił Piotr Zwolinski. Ja myślę, że jeszcze się nieraz spotkamy i pani profesor Domaradzka będzie mogła opowiedzieć bardziej o pracy komitetu, który zbiera po prostu na nowo przesyłki do Polski. Ze studia Tele Poloniki mówił Piotr Zwolinski.
Polska, Twój kraj, kraj Twoich przodków, kraj Kopernika, Kościuszki, Chopina, Marii Curie-Skłodowskiej, kraj Jana Pawła II. To tak blisko, to tak łatwo, mniej niż 8 godzin lotem, polskimi liniami lotniczymi lot.
Wysyłam lekarstwa do Europy od wielu lat. Wysyłam je do Polski, Węgier, Rumunii, Czechosłowacji i do wielu innych krajów. Jeżeli Państwo dostaną list od rodziny czy od przyjaciół proszący o lekarstwa, i to nawet bez recepty, mogą Państwu dopomóc. Gdyby danego lekarstwa nie było w Kanadzie, to nie ma żadnego problemu. Mogą je wysłać z Anglii, z Francji, z Niemiec lub ze Szwajcarii. Mogą zapewnić Państwa, że zostaną obsłużeni szybko, fachowo i uprzejmie.
Alfa Video and Film zapewnia największą jakość wideotransferu systemu europejskiego PALSECAM na system amerykański NTSC. Tele Polonica korzysta dla wszystkich swoich transferów z usług Alfy, gdzie jakość i szybkość jest najbardziej przekonująca. Ponadto Alfa Video and Film oferuje telesłuchaczom polskiego programu 25% obniżki.